If someone is willing to give the body the chance to get truly clean and hydrated, and then to make the best choices possible, virtually everybody can experience an amazing level of health and vitality.
Hi, this is Marina from Health Gloves, a certified raw vegan diet and healthy lifestyle coach. And currently I'm speaking to you from beautiful Costa Rica. Precisely, I'm here at this water fasting center called Tanglewood Wellness Center. And now I have this honor to talk to Loren Lockman, the director of this wellness center. Hi, Loren.
Hi, Marina.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How about you?
I'm doing great. So you are the supervisor at this water fasting center.
That's true.
Would you please tell us what is fasting? What is a fast?
Sure. Fasting is the voluntary elimination of all calories and nutrients. So ideally, it's really about more than just not eating. It's about resting as completely as we can so that the body can use all of the energy to cleanse and heal.
Nice. There are many quote-unquote fasting options out there, but one of the most popular one is juice fasting.
Right.
Is juice fasting even a fast?
No, technically it's not really fasting at all. I mean, of course, people can call anything they want to, but because juices contain both calories and nutrients, if you're drinking juices, it's really more like a juice feast than a juice fast.
Why is dry fasting dangerous, life dangerous?
Well, dry fasting, I mean, you know, the reason that people think it's a good idea, and again, you know that I'm constantly talking about what happens in nature. So in nature, there are 25 million animal species roughly. Most of them will fast when sick enough or badly enough injured to allow the body to heal, and many of them don't consume water while they're fasting. And so people say, well, look, other species do that, we should do it too. But the truth is, no other species actually dry fasts. And what I mean by that is dry fasting, I think the most important piece of it is the intention to go a certain amount of time without drinking water or eating. While animals in nature are called to stop eating, and they typically don't drink water because they don't need to. Because they've been eating their natural diet their entire lives, their bodies are fully hydrated. And so they can go quite a long time. And you know, my famous example is the pregnant polar bear, who every winter, when pregnant, spends 5 months underground with her cubs in a den. And while breastfeeding her cubs, 2 cubs, she's consuming no food and no water for 5 months. She comes out half of her original size, but because she was fully hydrated and because fasting, dry or wet, fasting, when the body is metabolizing fat, it's making perfect water. Because she wasn't dehydrated, because she didn't have a history of eating dry foods like most people do, bread, pasta, rice, grains, all the processed stuff people eat, that stuff gets stuck in the body. Now, you know this in a way that most people don't. Having been here these last weeks, especially this last week where everyone's refeeding, I'm sure you're talking to people who are telling you they're eliminating many times. There was someone today had 7 bowel movements yesterday, most of which contained old, hard, black, foul-smelling material. And so the polar bear eating her natural diet of fish and whatever else she can catch doesn't have any of that stuff in her system, doesn't need all that water to move that stuff out. Because her body is metabolizing ample amounts of fat, she's going to be okay. But animals in nature never decide, she doesn't say, I'm going to go 5 months without drinking. She does what she needs to do. When an animal, and she's not fasting because she's injured, it's different. But when an animal is injured or sick enough and needs to fast for that reason, according to a large animal veterinarian who was one of my students at a full-day seminar in Gdańsk, Poland several years ago, he said, when animals are fasting, if they need water, they go get water. People, I've seen these videos of people who are dry fasting who can barely speak because they're so dehydrated, but they're not drinking because they're not listening to their body. And they're not listening to their body because they've decided this is what they're going to do. if we are fully hydrated, we may set out to do a fast. I mean, the body says don't eat, we stop eating. As soon as we feel like we need water, we would seek water. That's what animals in nature do. That's the difference. So what dry fasting does is it makes the body significantly more dehydrated than it would have been before. The old hard material that we're talking about eliminating a minute ago, that stuff gets more hard and dry. It's never going to leave the body. We have someone here who did some dry fasting and thought he was clean, and he's been having bowel movements throughout the fast. Something he thought, no, it can't be in there, right? It's always in there. They're almost always the single most dehydrated people on site. You know, we measure hydration every day. Absolutely. We see the most dehydrated people are the ones who've been dry fasting. So, in fact, dry fasting, I mean, being dehydrated, it inevitably leads to damaging the kidneys and can lead to kidney failure, which can kill you, which killed Robert Lockhart, among other things. This is what happens. I'm fasting an MD right now. I fasted 5 or 6 MDs over the last 12 months. And there's a gentleman fasting with me right now who's an MD in the U.S. And he said, when we talked about this, he said, one of the first things we learned in medical school is that dehydration leads to kidney failure. Absolutely. And we see this all the time. So dry fasting is stupid. Now, here's the thing about it. Again, most people, our whole lives we're focused on symptoms. You've got a headache, you look for a way to get rid of the headache. You've got mucus in your sinuses, you look for a way to get rid of the mucus. You've got a stomach ache, you look for something to get rid of the stomach ache. For most people, most of the time, that means taking a drug or an herb or something which isn't healing anything, because no substance can heal the body heals itself. Healing is a biological process. But what these things do instead is they suppress the symptoms. Most people think if they have no symptoms, then they're better, then they've healed. But that's not true. Right? And so dry fasting, if you think about the fact that in order for the body to detoxify, there has to be enough water. 5 primary channels of elimination, including the colon, the urinary tract, the skin, the breath, mucous membranes, right? Each of those channels depends on having sufficient water. Water is the universal transport medium, so toxins are being transported out of the body on water every time. If someone is significantly dehydrated, their body can't detoxify. If they can't detoxify, there's no symptoms, because symptoms are evidence the body's cleansing and healing. So people become more dehydrated, their body stops detoxifying, they think they're healthier, but they're not. And the interesting thing, over the years, dry fasting has become a big fad over the last 10 years maybe. Before that, you didn't hear very much about it. When we take these people and get them hydrated, all their symptoms come back. They didn't do anything except suppress the symptoms. And they'll argue all day long, but none of them ever fasted properly and long enough.
That's a whole other story.
You may have heard just a month or so ago, but a young woman from Norway, who, not so young, but she fasted with me, guiding her 10 years ago maybe, something like that, her first fast, water fast. But like a lot of people, was looking for an easier way. And what happened? She died of a stroke while fasting, dry fasting, just recently. Okay, that's what happens. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, we have some visitors here, furry visitors, a cat. What would be the optimal natural diet for humans?
Well, that's easy. And I'll preface this by saying, while this sounds crazy to people, you've probably seen lots of cows around here. If you've been outside, because there's cows on a lot of the farms around us. Cows wake up in the morning, here, not on a factory farm, but here, they wake up, they look around, they think, holy crap, I've died and gone to heaven. I'm surrounded by grass. Because it doesn't get any better. If you're a cow, nothing looks better to you than grass. Maybe a cow of the opposite sex. Other than that, grass, right? For us, if we think about all the things available in nature, what are we most attracted to? It's definitely not grass. It's definitely not root vegetables. We're not going to see the top of a carrot or a beet and go, oh, that looks delicious. We're not going to see a broccoli and think, oh, that looks amazing. Nuts don't look appealing. What looks appealing to us are fruits on the trees. We are frugivores. We're fruit eaters, which, again, if you understand anything about the physiology of other species, shouldn't be a surprise because our digestive systems are virtually identical to those of the bonobos and chimpanzees, with whom we share over 99% of our DNA. We eat the same things that they do: fruits, soft, tender leaves. Not much else.
How many people have fasted in your resort?
Well, I've lost count over the years, but we just celebrated our 26th year a week or 10 days ago, and in March. And we used to be open the first 9 years, I think. We never closed. We closed twice. We closed once to move and once for renovations. And so back then we were open all the time. We had 18 guest beds in our last location where we spent 4.5 years. We were pretty much always full there. And so we would probably see in a year, let me think about this, about almost 1,000 people a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Now we're only open for 10 weeks, 3.5 times a year. We have a session that overlaps. So yeah, we're open about not quite 40 weeks a year for fasting, maybe 36 weeks a year, something like that. And in each of these sessions, we'll see about maybe 65, 70 people total, something like that. We had 34 people here for most of the last month. A lot of them, including you, leave us tomorrow. They're all being replaced. Every bed is full again tomorrow. So we stay full, and we'll see about 65 people per session, something like that. And then I see another 100 to 150 people per year who fast with me remotely.
Wow,
I'm doing 3 calls every day with remote clients. So we're fasting now far less than I used to, but it's still about 400 to 500 people a year roughly.
Congratulations. Is there anything else that you would like to add for the very end of this video?
Well, yeah, there's one thing I'd like to say, and that is I talk to people all the time who feel like they're victims of circumstance. They're stuck in a bad situation that there's nothing they can do anything about. And what I've seen doing what I do, and again, we've seen this again just over the last month. We've got people that are going to be leaving us tomorrow who feel amazing, who came to us with some degree of hopelessness in some cases, thinking maybe this is just something they were stuck with. And what I'm clear about is that if someone is willing to give the body the chance to get truly clean and hydrated, and then to make the best choices possible, virtually everybody can experience an amazing level of health and vitality. And so that's, my message to everyone is, hey, if you want to feel and function incredibly well, you can. You can. The thing to do is to give your body the chance to cleanse and heal, and then make the best choices possible. And when you do that, it's incredible what happens.
Nice. Well, thank you for this conversation, Loren.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I truly hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make sure that you click on that bell icon, because I am making new videos up for you, and I would love you to enjoy them and benefit from them. And now, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.